For addition and subtraction, we do have to be wary of that plus because these are not factors as is, but we can factor them to see what the factor pieces look like so that we can get a lowest common denominator to add and subtract. So here again, I'm going to factor. So I can't emphasize enough how important factoring is going to be. Okay, not just for grade 11, but also for when you get into grade 12 and calculus as well. So here I'm going to factor my greatest common factor. Okay, and I'm going to factor this. I get x minus 3 and x minus 5. Okay, now please don't cancel these factors out here and here. I'm just going to highlight them because this is something not to do. Okay, this is a no-go. Because there's a plus there, that means that these do not represent a times on top, divide on bottom, because they are on different fractions. Okay, so once we can get rid of the plus, then we could have one fraction as long as we can group it into multiplication. So that's the first thing. Secondly, we said before that we should simplify fractions first before we do anything. Oh, actually, we shouldn't simplify first. We always state restrictions first. So we're going to state the restrictions. X is not equal to 2, 3, and 5. Okay, so once we stated restrictions, now we should simplify fractions when possible. Okay, it's easier to deal with a simplified fraction. Okay, now in this case, it doesn't matter if we simplify the fraction because we need that x minus 3 factor here again anyways because there's an x minus 3 factor here. So although we could simplify, I'm going to multiply, keep that because that represents a factor in each denominator. So if I get rid of it here, I have to just add it back in. Okay, but we should look to simplify when we can. Okay, so I'm going to then end up with multiplying by x minus 2 to get my common denominator. Here I need an x minus 5 and an x minus 5. Okay, so although, like I said, although we can simplify that, we'd have to introduce that back in again to get the common denominator. So we want to expand and combine like terms first, and then we'll see if we can simplify after again. So here we end up with 2x minus 10 plus, and I'm just going to put in brackets here just to keep things in, just so I can keep track of everything. Okay, because we have to be more careful when there's a minus, but we're just going to add everything on this side. So we're going to end up with x squared minus 5x plus 6. And that's all over my lowest common denominator. Okay, x minus 2, x minus 3, x minus 5. So we're going to expand those brackets and combine like terms. So plus 3x squared minus 15x, 3 times 6, so it's going to be plus 18. That's all over my lowest common denominator. Okay, and then we're going to combine like terms. So 3x squared, I've got plus 2 minus 15, so I'm going to end up with minus 13x. Minus 10 plus 18 is plus 8. And that's all over my common denominator. Okay, and again, we just leave it like this because all we're doing is simplifying this expression. We're just adding this expression. There's nothing to solve for. So give me an x equals or something like that. My restrictions are observed. This, it does not look like it's factorable because 3 times 8 is 24. It doesn't look like there's two numbers that multiply to 24 and add to negative 13. Okay, so just double check 6 and it looks like it is factorable. Okay, so we should factor that then. Okay, so I'm going to use my diagonal product, 24x squared, and and two numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 13. Actually, that doesn't exist, does it? So 6 and 7, okay, 8 and 9, no, those are all not going to work. 10 and 3, 2 and 11, 1 and 12, they don't work. So this is not factorable. Okay, so this is, we will leave that as is.